Hi guys, it's your buddy Joe Abbey back with a little bit of information for you. This time around we're going to handle a topic that I've been seeing a lot of on YouTube and on Facebook and different social media platforms about what it's really like to drive for Uber or Lyft. Those are the ride-sharing car companies that everybody's getting involved in now. Before I do that, I have to answer two questions that have come up since my last couple of videos, and they are as follows. Number one, no, these degrees behind me in my office are not mine. They are my wife's. Smart woman, yet she still married me. Figure it out for yourself. Yes, that is a sarcophagus. No, it does not have a mummy in it, although it does have the movie The Mummy. Enough said. So back to what we came here for. I've been noticing a lot of people complaining, whining, and asking what it's really like to drive for Lyft or Uber. I've watched some of the videos on YouTube, and I'm here to tell you straight out that almost every single one of them is dishonest, or it's kind of covering up the truth, and I believe that most of these guys doing these is to stop some of the competition that's out there. Let me explain to you how I got involved and got interested in doing any driving at all. About a year and a half ago, someone who worked for me at a regular job, making a regular amount of pay, was driving a really nice car. And I approached him and said jokingly, "Hey, rich parents?" His reply was, "No, I go out and drive Uber a few days out of the month, and that makes my car payment for me, so I can drive whatever I want, the type of car I like, still keep my regular job, and have nothing out of pocket." I thought, wow, it's a really good idea. Again, over a year ago, never put more mind to it. Now, as of late, I've decided, let me give this a try. Let me see what, if anything, can make some extra money at this. So I went online and started looking around on what it's required and what could possibly be made. And I saw an article on MSN stating that someone who does Uber driving or Lyft driving, but mostly they were focusing on Uber, if they do it in a month, occasionally, like exactly what I do, they can only make about $300 a month. I'm here to tell you straight out, that is 110% wrong. Now granted, I don't know where this article was based out of getting these results or these driving results, but I can tell you in all sincerity and honestly, straight out, on a bad day, I've only been out for 5 or 6 hours, and I've made $100 easily in one day. So therefore, if I can go out in 5 hours and make $100, if I did that 3 times in a month, total of 15 hours would easily be at $300 if you're doing the math at home. The deal is I go out very infrequently, and I've walked away in a week with $200 or better. So how could someone who does this much more regular than I'm able to only make $300 in a month? Let me go further with this. There are some factors that play into your driving, such as frequency, where you live, not only where you live, but where you drive in the area that you live, and what you do with your time. Let me explain and go into that. I am at the best going out 3 times in a week. That's not what most men, women, or individuals of any sort who are driving for Uber or Lyft do. Most of them are going out 4 and 5 times a week, if not more. I'm only doing it 3 or 4 times. Granted, I will give myself the benefit of the doubt. I live in Orlando, Florida, one of the biggest tourist meccas anywhere in the world. So, with that in mind, I want to be fair about somebody who may live in Minneapolis or in Iowa and they're only making $300. Gotcha. I'm talking about from a perspective of where I am, and we're talking about a metropolitan city where you can have many different riders throughout the day, throughout the evening, on the weekends, late at night. So again, if you're living in a very rural area, you're not going to make any money. But that's a given. Now also, what you do with your time. The problem with that is that here in Orlando, when you go to drive at the airport or any place like that, they put you in a queue, meaning you are in line for whoever is going to call on you, be it Lyft or Uber, whoever you're driving for, and what will happen is there will be X amount of people ahead of you and then your turn comes around and someone calls for a lift, and then you go and pick them up and take them to their destination. Now, the reason you may be only making $300 a month is if you feel like going into a queue at either, say, the Orlando airport or even any of the Disney parks, okay? Animal Kingdom, Epcot, the Magic Kingdom, because the queue is so high. What I mean by that is at any given time at our airport, there are for Lyft 40 to 50 cars ahead of you at any given time. That's on the Uber side, let's say. But also on Lyft, then there'll be another 60 or 70 cars in queue. So if you have the time to wait either through 60 cars or 50 cars, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But that's how I see most people are not making money, because I've gone to these sites once or twice, and it's a bunch of guys who know each other sitting in the parking lot where you're designated to wait, and they have lawn chairs and they're playing cards. So to me, these gentlemen are not out to make money. They're out to just hang out and be away from their families or whatever their environment is as much as possible. I want to go out, I want to earn some cash and come home and be with my family. So now, going back to the Disney thing, at any given time, for the Magic Kingdom, the queue is usually at 40 to 50 cars. If you get called, when you get called, after 2 to 3 hours of waiting sometimes, you get one ride. What do you possibly think that one ride generates? 20? Let's even push it and say $30? So if you have no problem hanging out for 2 to 3 hours to make $30, go right ahead. But in reality, if you were to go into some of our other tourist areas, such as the International Drive area, you would be able to make much more money in a much shorter amount of time. Simply stating, there are people on iDrive who come here on vacation and do not rent a car. They're at their hotel. They want to go to a restaurant that they heard about on the other side of town, downtown, wherever it may be. Sometimes they want to go from iDrive, where they've paid only $70 or $80 for a hotel, to go to the Disney area where hotels run $200 to $300 a night, but they have no way to get there. You're that way to get there. So those rides easily run $20 or $30 just to go from one section of town to another section of town. So now you've got 20 or 30 in your pocket. You probably pick up a ride from someone in the Disney area wanting to go somewhere else, and that's another 20, 30. Even if it doesn't, it only takes you a matter of minutes to get back to the iDrive area and hit another ride for another $20. So again, there's lots of money to be made if you're wise about it. Now, here's where everybody on the internet goes wrong and tells you how you can't make money. Usually at this point, someone leans to the side and all of a sudden their stats show up here, and they do a little superimposition of what their amounts of rides cost, this, that, and everything. Well, we'll have none of that here, because I can put up any set of numbers just as they can, and it's more than likely fudged quite a bit. Let's explain some of the situations that are being posted on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else, stating what is going on and why you can't make money with either of these two rideshare companies. Number one is your insurance. Everyone states, well, you have to figure your insurance and you're out there driving. Well, guess what? No, you don't, because it's your car. If you're driving it for any reason whatsoever, unless you're some sort of, I don't know, convict, you have to have insurance on your car to register it. So Uber and Lyft are not making you carry additional insurance or anything of that sort. Gas. Oh, well, yeah, you are using your car as your source of income, but people don't count their gas in general when they're going to their job. If you're working as a janitor in a warehouse, you don't sit there and state to your friends, well, I had to get to work today and it cost me $3 in gas. It's never figured in. Again, I know you're using your gas to transport people around, but again, the problem is this. Many times on iDrive, I will go a distance of about 3 miles, and the charge will be $7. Do you truly think I've spent $7 driving 2 to 3 miles? We all know that no matter what car you're driving, probably even if it's a tank, it's not happening. You're not spending that much money. That's profit in your pocket. Let's go to the next level. Wear and tear on your car. And again, I'll revert to when you're going to work at your regular job. Do you ever say, hey boss, I need a raise. I've got wear and tear on my car coming to this job. You don't. And here's my favorite one, depreciation. Oh, every one of these guys on YouTube is always saying, you know, you have to calculate that in. Really? You calculate depreciation? Do you calculate depreciation in when you're going to your regular job? No. Let me ask you this. Right now, my car is in my garage. Do you know what it's doing? Depreciating. That's right. Later on, if I move it out of the garage and park it in the driveway, do you know what it's doing? Depreciating. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to figure out that if you're smart, if you have the right areas to drive in, and if you're out there to actually make money rather than sit in a queue with 70 other cars at Disney or 90 other cars at the airport. Making money with Lyft or Uber is pretty simple. It's pretty viable. And it is obviously an alternative for people who can't get into a regular position or have limited flexibility. You go out when you want, you wrap it up when you want, and if you are smart and stay in relatively safe areas of town and don't drive until 3 in the morning, the risk to you is minimal. That's my piece. I've said it. I just wanted to make sure that all these guys that are out there telling you, don't drive, it's not worth it, they're telling you that to cut down on competition. I enjoy competition, and guess what? If you're going to be part of this, make sure that you're aware of those few things that I've told you about. Depreciation, insurance, those are all factors that you have to have when you have a car. As my father told me when I was a young man, if you ever start worrying about the price of gas, you have no business driving a car. Because how do you think the car is supposed to get around in the first place? Till the next time, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we'll see you again real soon.
Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
Abby someone.
Abby who?
Abby Normal.
Abby Normal.
I'm almost sure that was the name.